I've got a lot of work to do in my power sheets today. Hi everybody, today I'm going to be checking in and finishing up my March power sheets and then doing the spring check-in. This will be a two-part video. The part that goes up tomorrow will be when I go into my April power sheets and set them up for the upcoming month. And the reason I'm splitting this into two is kind of twofold. The first reason is that these videos always wind up with a shit ton of footage because it takes a while for me to do the thinking and the writing, but also because there's just a lot happening here. And then on top of all of that, I'm gearing up for Plan As You Go, and my brain is so busy with that coming up with extra videos this week has been kind of a difficult one. And that might just sound like I'm copping out, but that's probably because I am. Originally, I had intended to do a budget video this month, and I didn't, and you're going to find out why when I talk about my power sheets, because I have been doing well on certain aspects of my life and not so well on others. So let's get right into it. So here's my March power sheets. This is probably the least progress I have made in a month since the beginning of the month. If we look at February versus March, and then if we look at January versus March. Now, to be fair, I was sick for a good 2 weeks at the beginning of March this month, but I mean, in January I had surgery, so maybe that's not the greatest excuse in the world. There are still a couple of things that I might get done before the end of this month. Taxes is one of them. My husband and I are going to try and get them done this weekend when the kids are back at their dad's house. A couple of these other things as well, but that's beside the point, because what I want to draw your attention to is the area where I have really slacked off, and that is with the budgeting, both for my business and for my personal life. Not on here, like here, we did not have the budget meeting, did not update the budget, did not reconcile the business spreadsheet, none of those things with the budget. I have been kind of allowing myself to still be intimidated by it. Now, we're still paying bills. We actually moved a big chunk of money over to savings this month. So we're doing okay financially, at least in the personal side of things. I've been avoiding it, and I knew I was going to, because this is an area that I have a lot of baggage and stress around, but I have managed to push it off. There's some other stuff I didn't finish as well, but that's the big one. And that kind of was two different goals, the business budgeting and financial goals and my home. So I wanted to bring this up because I wanted you guys to know, A, this is why there isn't a budget video this month, because I haven't done it yet and I don't want to fake it. I would rather just tell you about it, and here I'm going to tell you about it because this is a more appropriate place as I'm talking about goals that I have either made progress on or didn't. The second reason is that I know that I am not the only one who feels like this. I know I'm not the only one who hesitates when it comes to money, or who stresses out or puts way more stress and pain on a situation than maybe it needs to have. And that's what's happening to me right now. There's no reason for me to not be working on this except for the shit that's in my head, and I haven't figured out how to get past that yet. Just doing it is not working, apparently, for me. I need to figure some more shit out, so that's what we're going to work on in April. One of the things I put down for my April focus in yesterday's bullet journal video that I'll link up in the cards is to not be mean to myself because I didn't accomplish something. To not be a jerk to myself because I didn't make progress, because that is something I am bad at. That doesn't help anything. When you guilt trip yourself, when you hate on yourself for not doing something you set out to do, that doesn't help you. And I know this intellectually. That doesn't stop me from doing it. So I'm going to work on not feeling guilty and just work on trying to do better. With that being said, the other big area I kind of fell out. I did not do my morning pages this month. And that was partly I'd started a great role with it, and then I got sick and I was barely out of bed for like half of this month. And so I'm going to just start fresh in April and try again. And hopefully this time not get a bug that's going to get me in bed for 2 or 3 weeks. And it's Headspace. Part of me thinks maybe I should just find a different way to try meditating, because this has not been something I have been able to take the time to do, but I need to at least do it for a month and make sure that it's not something for me. So April, again, it's going to go on there. So now that I have talked about all of that and I've rambled at you for like 5 minutes, I'm going to fill out my month in review for March, and then we will talk about it. Although I'm imagining that a lot of what we're going to talk about is stuff I've already talked about. This month, I'm especially grateful for spring. Spring fever is hitting me hard. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that a few days ago, or like last week or something, the weather got really beautiful for a couple days, and I was losing it. I was so excited. So yeah, spring. Spring has sprung. It's like windy and wet today, but it's coming, my dudes. It's coming. Goals that are growing well, the stuff having to do with my health, maybe not the Headspace stuff, but I got moved on to a new antidepressant. It's another antidepressant related to Zoloft. It's Celexa. And for the most part, my stomach issues have cleared up and I'm feeling a little bit more even-headed. So I'll be seeing my therapist this week and we'll be talking about it. But I have been pretty good at cooking with carrots. I'm worried about asparagus next month because I don't like it very much, and neither do my kids, so we're gonna try it. We may figure this one out, or this may be the first vegetable we just decide is not for our family, except for Jesse, who loves it. And then working on my home, and the reason I put that is because I got through the decluttering of my kitchen, which means 2 months in a row. I have one more part to do this week, but 2 months in a row now, I have managed to declutter. Just small amounts, and it's working, which makes me excited. I'm grateful for my kid, Katie, because Katie has been trying really hard to work on things, and I just appreciate it, and I see the effort, and it makes me just so excited to see Katie trying. And then the other person I'm grateful for is Maggie. She's someone from my church, and when I was really sick, she called me and we talked about a few things, and she took some stuff off my plate, and I just really appreciated it. We already talked about this. I'm choosing grace over guilt about not following through on my budgeting financial stuff. The progress I'm celebrating, even if it was small, was the kitchen decluttering. A favorite memory from this month was going to see A Tale of Two Cities, the school musical that my kid was working crew for. It was really awesome. There was guillotine. A good lesson I learned is that sleep is not just amazing, but I really, really need more. When I was sick, I needed some. I was in bed so much, and now I'm like exhausted constantly. It's gotten even more in my face than usual, which is making me realize that it's the combination of my constant being tired, my not sleeping well because of my big kidneys pushing on things, and now the fatigue from low kidney function is really starting to hit me. I need to prioritize getting better sleep as best as I can, which isn't easy to come by when you have kidney disease, but I need to try a little harder at that. What I'm saying no to next month is extra booster responsibility. I don't have any. We have some bingo dates put in, which is something that I did check off of my Powersheets. But I talked to somebody for the new board, and apparently there's some board members going off, and I told her, well, I used to be a board president, and she looked all excited about that, and I'm like, but I can't do that this next year because I need to not pick up more priorities. And so I caught myself almost saying yes, so now I got to remind myself to say no. And finally, what I'm saying yes to is prompt inbox responses. If you are owed an email from me, I am so sorry. And if you've gotten one recently, you probably got some version of I am sorry that this sat for so long. I'm terrible with my inbox. The whole inbox zero thing. I even responded to a YouTube comment. I don't remember who it was who asked me. It might have been Jessica, who asked me if I had hit inbox zero yet this month. And I said no, but I was like, but that's not one of my power sheet goals for this month anyway. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh, it is. The only reason I haven't noticed it is because I haven't been doing it. So inbox zero is going to be a thing next month, and being on top of my emails instead of letting things linger. It's one of those things where it's like I know I need to, but I just get sucked into it, so I don't. That's something I'll be working on next month. Saying yes to not letting my inbox rule me, still like determining this is the time of day I'm responding to emails, but not letting emails linger for a month in my inbox or more. This is the spring quarterly check-in, and it says make a mess right here. I don't need any help with that. You should see my desk right now. In spring, new life appears out of what felt bleak. It is time for planting new seeds, blooming, and celebrating after winter. Spring always comes. This is your fresh start. Okay, that's a little cheesy, but to be perfectly honest, with the way I've been like tweaking out over spring lately, it feels pretty good. So we're gonna work on this. So there's several pages here. There is this clear the clutter checklist. Then there's a refresh of all of these goal areas, then rewriting them and adapting them if you need to. And then there's a space for a wild card. And I don't think I'm gonna put a wild card here for this. I don't think I'm gonna do one in April though. I haven't really been using them all that much, so I don't really feel like I need to. Maybe, I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. So let's get started on this. This first page is the Clear the Clutter checklist. It says, it's time for some spring cleaning. Press the restart button and clear out all of the clutter that prevents you from spending your time intentionally. It is never too late for a fresh start, whether that means saying no, creating spaces in your home that fire you up, or clearing the internet clutter. Oh, internet clutter. Here are a few simple challenges to give you a fresh start and clear direction. And I'm going to try and do all of these, I think. I mean, I haven't read them yet, so maybe that's like a hollow promise, but maybe I'll just try and get through all of this as part of like April spring cleaning my life or whatever. Internet clutter. Try a social media free weekend. This is something that was on my goals anyway. We have been doing really well with putting the social media and the phones aside during dinner every night, as you can see back here in March. I mean, like, look at that. That's a solid situation. I may not even put it on my Powersheets this next month, but I think we have not had a social media free weekend. Now, is that possible in April, knowing all the shit that's happening? Let me look. I am going to glance at my Google Calendar and tell you. There is a weekend that I might be able to do that. Matter of fact, I think I will. I'll have to be on social media on Friday for something with my patrons, but then I can, it's the weekend of Easter. We don't even celebrate Easter. That weekend, I'm going to be working at bingo with my kid, and then we're going to be just having family time the next day. So I think that social media free weekend is entirely possible. So this one, yes, we will try and do this one. So maybe I'll just put like I'll underline or some shit. I'm not going to use color coordination in terms of my like goals and shit on this page. I'm just going to use these 2 pens that came in the Erin Condren seasonal surprise box. They make me think of watermelons. They're very spring-like, so I'm just going to alternate them. I'm going to underline the ones I know I'm going to do. Gut your social media feeds and blog lists. So I'm guessing go through, I don't even have a blog list, but social media feeds, going through and unfollowing. I need to do that because there's a couple of things that keep popping up on my feed where I'm like, do I even give a shit? No. Unsubscribe from emails. Abso-fucking-lutely. I have Unroll Me, but I have not updated it. Organize and simplify your computer desktop. My computer desktop is ridiculous, and my husband is horrified by it. So we'll take that one. We will take that one. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. But if it does happen, my husband will be thrilled because he thinks my desktop is a piece of raw bullshit. Turn off the notifications that distract you. I should do that too. So all of these, this internet clutter checklist, the whole thing, I'm going to hopefully work on in April. And then 3 spaces to clear out this spring for physical clutter. There's the bookshelf in my bedroom. Somehow it went from being a place where we hold books to a place where I hold folded dish towels and books and candles that have mostly burned out, but I can't bring myself to throw away. And it's become like a dusty holding place for a bunch of bullshit. So that is absolutely, and it's small and I can handle that in a quick hot minute. So that's definitely going on here. And I put shelves because there's a small unit in there too that shouldn't take very long to clean out, but it also needs it. Now the garage really needs cleaning out. I think that's a bigger project than what they're asking for here. But there is a big bookshelf in the kitchen that should also be cleaned out because we don't even know if it's going to stay in the kitchen once I finish the beadboard project in there. And as soon as the weather gets better consistently, that's what I'm going to do. So we'll put that one as well. And then under my bathroom sink, it's a tiny little sink and somehow it manages to hold 5 sinks worth of shit underneath it. So that's another one. These are all kind of small, but these could all be tackled easily in like a 20-30 minute period. Heart clutter. 3 purpose-filled things to do when I feel lost in the comparison trap. Paint, because lately I have been obsessed with, I've been loving painting in general, but I'm getting more and more rediscovering my watercolors. Secondly, read. Pick up a book and just start reading it, especially a fiction book where I can lose myself because that will distract my mind. And thirdly, compliment 10 people. And I'll put here on social media, just go to their Instagram feeds, find things and legitimately honestly compliment them because that always makes me feel so good when I love to compliment people. Like I love to not fake compliment, but really compliment people. And so doing that will probably lift my spirits. And then 3 decisions that will help me have a clean emotional slate and live more purposefully. This is decision clutter. Oh boy, this is a hard one for me. I've spent some time this month kind of determining some things that we need as a family, individually and together. Jesse and I talked about going to the gym by his work, not because I can do a lot of heavy-duty strenuous exercising, but I would be happy getting on the elliptical and answering DMs and some of those emails, or using the pool because that is low impact and doesn't hurt my kidneys. And he really could use just a way to blow off steam. And so we really want to get into the habit of just going in the morning together before everybody has to leave the house. So that's something we want to work on. He's objecting to it, not because he he knows it's a good idea, but part of him just really doesn't want to. So we're talking about it. But that would be something that we could really bring us closer together, make us both feel a little bit better. Katie, the weekly family planning time, Katie's the one who really needs it out of all of us. And even if it's not all four of us doing it, if I can just sit down with Katie every week and help Katie make a plan and then help Katie stick to that plan, that's going to be really important for both Katie's well-being and mine, because when Katie freaks out and stresses out, I freak out and stress out. And then finally, RJ, I have discovered that he is really needing extra time with me, one-on-one. Not with Katie, not with us like griping at each other or talking about chores, but just time for us to sit and like hang out together. And so I need to prioritize doing that. I actually get that fairly often with Katie anyway, because Katie and I have similar interests. So that winds up happening pretty easily. But RJ and I, not so much. So that's something I want to work on with him. And I think those will help me be more focused in the rest of my life, because I'll feel like I'm doing right by the three people in my life whose moods and problems and issues can impact my day. And I think that is more likely to purposefully impact my life than anything I could do with just myself, I think. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. This last one is my social media mission statement. Use social media in your times of connectivity on purpose. Write out a mission statement for how and why you will use them well. Cut out this page and post it near your computer or desk. If you find yourself mindlessly using social media again, check your motives and get back to living on purpose in all things. I don't think I'm going to cut it out and stick it by my desk, but I maybe will put it as my focus at some point soon. So here's my mission statement, and I encourage a lot of you to adopt this as well. Social media should serve to inspire me and connect me meaningfully with others. If it begins to distract and cause negative feelings instead of those things, I need to step away and take a break. Now that we have done that, it is time for my goal refresh. This is basically the same situation as what I filled in my original setup. And I'm going to go through and rate each of these areas and explain why I gave that rating, and then we will compare them to what I did 3 months ago. Let's go through these one by one, and we'll check and see whether or not they changed from the beginning of the year. The first one is health. I gave it a 4. In January, I gave it a 3. So I feel like there has been some improvement. Why I gave it this rating? I'm improving my mental health, even as my physical health is still difficult. I do feel good about some of the progress I've made with my mental health. What am I saying yes to? More activity, however it may look. And what I'm saying no to, I think it's time to give up the soda. I've given up the dark sodas for the most part. Occasionally I'll have one. But I've been drinking ginger ale, and I've been drinking more of it than I really wanted to, because it settles my stomach down. But I think it's time to just fucking drop the soda. Friends, I rated that a 2, and it was a 2 back in January as well, or December, whenever it was. Still not spending enough time with my friends. Being sick impacted this. I spent big chunk of January recovering from surgery, and I spent a big chunk of March sick as a dog. So there's that, but I've really just not gotten out. I have a friend I've been trying to have coffee with for months now. So I'm going to say yes to coffee dates and say no to completely being a hermit. Spouse and significant other, I rated it a 9, and I rated an 8 in December, so I feel like we've made some improvement. A big part of that has been the date nights and also just putting our phones down. Because it used to be that we would put our phones down during dinner with the kids, but we wouldn't put our phones down when we had dinner with each other. And now we're doing that as well. What I'm saying yes to, more date nights. What I'm saying no to, meaningless arguments. And I'm putting a lot of this on me. I can tend to get really persnippety about a lot of things for no good reason. And so I'm going to try and work on that this month. Family, I rated it a 3, mostly referring to my kids here. And this one went down. I rated my family a 4 back in December. Each time I think progress is being made, shit goes haywire. And part of this is because I'm a parent of teenagers right now, and things are kind of rough for us. But every time I think things are going to just be mellow, some new shit comes up. It has been difficult for me to be supportive of my kids when I am as stressed out as I am about it, and it is difficult for them to interact really well with us when they're stressed out about it, and it's been a rocky ride, and I'm ready for it to mellow out a little bit. But for now, I'm going to say yes to patience with them, but I'm going to say no to being a pushover, because they are as aware as anybody else in our family is that of the 4 parents they have, I'm the pushover, and I think that causes some more of my stress. I'm already starting to work on that. We're going to work on it a little bit more this time around. As for finances, I rated them a 4, and they went down a little bit from a 5. Now, here's the thing. When I rated them a 5 before, it was because everything was great, but I needed to take a more active interest in them. I think it probably went down because everything is still going okay for us, but I am really sticking my head in the sand, and that was something I just was determined not to do this year, and I've spent 3 months still doing it, so that's something I really need to focus on, not just because I want to make budget videos for you guys, although that would help hold me accountable, but obviously that hasn't been working yet. So I'm going to say yes to being present with these conversations and say no to hiding from shit. Spiritual and personal growth, I marked it an 8. I said things are rolling right along. Like, I feel like I am learning some shit about myself, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable with my church currently. That went up 2 points from 6. And what I'm saying yes to is lots of reading, and what I'm saying no to is no new commitments. And maybe part of the reason this went up for me was because I was able to delegate some stuff over the last couple of months. There are things that normally I would be doing at the last minute that are already done through the end of the year. So I'm feeling good about it. Knock on IKEA wood. Work, I rated a 6, which is the same. I gave it this rating because I am reinvigorated. I'm feeling a lot more creative and more interested in trying new things with the stuff I'm doing. I just haven't done any of it yet. And so that's my point. I'm reinvigorated, but I need to take action in a meaningful way. And that is something that I haven't done yet. So that's going to be my focus for the next few months. I'm saying yes to is trying new things in my work hemisphere, and saying no to being comfortable in my work hemisphere. And the final one is recreation. I rated it a 2, which is the same thing I gave it before. And I said, what's that? Between being sick and working and dealing with teenager drama, I have not had time to be having any kind of recreational fun, or at least what it feels like. I've been playing some video games, but that's about it. So what I'm saying yes to is fun, and what I'm saying no to is boredom most of the time, because I recognize that sometimes boredom can be very valuable. So that is my refresh. Some of them went up, some of them went down, some of them stayed the same. I feel like that's about right. My word for the next 3 months is action. It's going to be springtime, heading into summer. I'm not going to be feeling quite so let's cuddle up in the blanket and stay on the couch because the weather's going to be nicer. I have like a burst of creativity. I'm doing some fun traveling in May and June. And I've got all of these ideas, and so I just need to take action on them. I'm still going to need to be careful with how I push myself because of my health, but I feel like I've got all these thoughts, and I need to take action on them. So that is going to be my word for the next few months. So the next thing here is a goal refresh. Flip back to your original goals and choose your path. Rewrite your goals with fresh words or move on to new goals or a combination of both. Keep practicing the powerful art of making a mess. Write what comes to mind and move forward. This isn't set in stone forever. You'll do a goal refresh again in the next 3 months. I put the color coding down with this, the goal setting sticker book from Cultivate What Matters. I'm going to rewrite these goals, and if I change them, we'll talk about them as soon as I'm done. I kept 3 of these the same. I added on to 3 of them to clarify them more, and I changed one, maybe just the approach to it, even though in a lot of ways it's the same goal, slightly. So we'll go from the first one down. The first 3 are ones I added to, and these were 3 of the ones I struggled the hardest with the last 3 months, so I felt like adding some clarification might help. Originally, goal 1 was develop a healthy family financial practice. And I turned it into develop and participate in a healthy family financial practice, because I feel like at the very least we're somewhat healthy, but I'm not participating in it. Goal number 2 was create a healthy and sustainable business picture, and much like the first one, I clarified that to involve more action steps. Just like I said, action is my word for the next 3 months. So I put create a healthy and sustainable business picture, both in concept and practice. I've done a lot of thinking about what a healthy business might look like, but I haven't put a lot of it into action, especially when it comes to the financial part. The third one also had some changes. Originally, it was strengthen our family relationship. Now it is strengthen our family relationship, building support for each of us. Because one of the things that has become more and more obvious is that each one of us, both myself, my husband, and my kids, and my family as well, my extended family, we all need different kinds of support. And what works for one kid may not work for the other. What works for my husband may not work for me. And we need to really work on building in the kind of individualized support that we each need as we're each going through different things in our lives right now, which are making things a little stressful and more difficult. Then the next 3 stay the same. Treat my whole self, mind, and body kindly, nurture a healthy and loving marriage, and foster more quiet space. I kept all of those the same. Actually, 4 of them, because I also kept create an environment that I am proud of the same. I figure that with all 4 of these goals, I saw some decent progress, and I don't feel the need to change them. I'm taking action on each of those as they stand, so I did not feel like updating them. I didn't think it was necessary. I did, however, change number 8, and I changed this one the most, although I would say in spirit is still the same, but I figured I would turn it into a more action-oriented goal. That's the buzzword today, my dudes. Action. Establish a more balanced work life. That was the old one. Now it is balance taking exciting action with setting boundaries with work. So the setting boundaries is the part about maintaining a balanced work life as best as I can. But the exciting action is the reminder that I do need to take action in my business, that I have ideas, that I have all sorts of ideas, and I'm just too scared to take action. So I need to focus on trying a little bit of change, but in general, the same basic idea. Nothing's changed radically. It's just adding the action piece into them. So that is my quarterly check-in. I am going to set up my April pages next, and I'm going to try and take this whole action situation and move it into April. That video will be up tomorrow, so I hope that you join me then, that you subscribe if you haven't already so you can get it. And for now, I would love to know one thing you want to take action on in the next 3 months, whether it is small or large, whether it is scary or regular, like fiber. I want to know in the comments, what is there something that you are excited to do, or something that maybe you're not excited to do, but you know you need to do? So let me know in the comments below so we can all encourage each other. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Remember to subscribe, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.